What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I came out here into the garage today to do some prep work for the turbo kit that's going to be installed into this EM1K20 swap, hopefully coming in here soon. I'm still waiting for the turbo manifold from Just TIG, which is about a week out, and also the Turbo Smart wastegate. Once we get those two pieces, the main pieces to the puzzle, then we can get this car to the driveway so we can get cracking on installing a turbo kit into that car. I've cut enough pies today between the 3-inch and the 2.5. I deburred all of the pies and clean them all up, put them in the box down below right there, ready to rock and roll when time comes. Big shout out to the homie Brian and also PTB for the 4 foot of 2.5 and also the 4 foot of 3 stainless steel tubing. Wanted to take a break from all of that and kind of dive into this plasma cutter right here that we got in the last video. I believe his name is Alan. Big shout out to you. Thank you for sending the plasma cutter over. I did watch a couple of videos on this exact model on YouTube, and it seems pretty straightforward. I'm gonna set you guys up on a tripod outside and we're gonna unbox this together, kind of go through some of the stuff that comes in it and set it all up to do some cutting today. All right guys, so this plasma cutter apparently is like the top 3 seller on Amazon, and I'm not even gonna attempt to read the brand of this plasma cutter. I'm gonna let you guys see it right here. I don't have an affiliate link on Amazon, but I'll put the link to this unit anyways down below if you guys are interested after this video. So first things first, be sure to cut away from yourself, not towards yourself. First things first, we do have a manual right there. We have the torch handle, and it does come with some extra consumables right there, some cups and collets, some nozzles, tips, whatever you want to call them. We do have some protection in here, although it did bust through the package right there. Just a cord, the adapter from the 110 to the 220. This thing is freaking tiny. We have the ground strap right here. When this package was delivered, I had no idea there was a plasma cutter in it because I didn't think, you know, there was one this freaking small. The dimension of this plasma cutter, height-wise, is about 10 inches. It is roughly 6 inches wide, and with the regulator in the back, it's about 17 inches long. That is a tiny machine, but I bet this thing packs a punch. There are 2 dials in the front, which I believe controls the air or gas. Is that what it says? Post gas. This one is the current, which is the amperage, I guess. And then there's a little display. There is a 2T, 4T. I think 2T is you hold the trigger and it works, you let it go, it turns off. 4T, you press the trigger, it stays on until you hit the trigger again for it to turn off. I'm used to the 2T, so I'm gonna leave it right there. Ports on the bottom for your torch and I believe your ground and I don't know what that one is, but we'll check the manual before we put it in use. In the back side, we have the regulator, which is for the air input. This right here is the ground strap. Let me check it really quickly. This thing is at least 6 foot. That goes right here in the front. It does have a notch right here, so you just gotta make sure you put it in correctly without forcing it. Torch itself, this thing looks freaking long. I'm probably gonna guess this is at least 12 feet. Got a little protective cover here for the threads. Pop that off. Crank that down, not too much because it is brass. And then this is probably the trigger control. This also has a little notch on it, so you can't install this wrong. gonna go ahead and put this thing off to the side. This is a 50 amp unit, and obviously it's gonna work a little more efficient on 220 volt. But let's go ahead and see what the manual says. Hopefully it has some settings in here we can kind of go based off of. To establish a basic cutting guide for the best cut, set the unit for 20 amps to cut up to 1/8 inch steel thickness. For every additional 1/8 inch of thickness encountered, add 10 amps for good cutting speed. Now mind you guys, this thing is 50 amps, and plus or minus it can go up to like 50, 52, 54 or something like that. I've seen in some videos, but 1/8 inch is 20 amps, and then any additional 1/8 inch is 10 amps on top of the 20. Although this unit is capable of cutting 3/4 inch thick or greater, this is only a severance cut and not quality or production cut. This unit is best for regular cutting metals of 1/2 inch or less, which I don't think I'll ever cut anything thicker than 1/2 inch, but if I need to be, then you know I can always flip flop, right, if that's how it works. But anyways, match nozzle orifice size to the amperage being cut for best results, significantly lowering the air pressure while using a larger diameter orifice will only result in cutting instability. Use a 0.6 millimeter nozzle for 20-25 amps, 0.8 millimeter for 20 to 35, 0.9 for 35 to 50. Different size consumable are available from online or local sources. There is some overlap in nozzle cutting capacity, but minor fine-tuning of air pressure may help improve the cut results. However, do not exceed 80 psi cutting pressure, and do not lower cutting pressure below 60. 60 is minimum, and they do have a little regulator right here in the back, and it has a gauge on it to kind of tell you what your air pressure is going in for the function of this machine. I set this thing up, guys, and I did a quick little test run just to kind of familiarize myself with it just a little bit before I look like a fool on camera. This thing is fun. So the plasma cutter machine is set up over here because the cable is short and is going to my wall outlet over there on the 210 conversion to 110, and it's plugged in. We have the air hose plugged in right here. I did make sure my compressor has air in it, and I gauged it down to 60. Right there on the back side is on 60. When I initially plugged it in, it was at 90 because my tank is at 100, and I have a 1/4 inch steel plate underneath because obviously I'm on wood, I'm not on the floor doing it on concrete. And then right here I have a tow hook that is about 1/4 inch of steel, and I was just kind of messing with the settings just a little bit, and I did this quick first cut, and god dang dude, this thing took like 5 seconds to knock. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this thing on for you guys, and I do have it on 30 amps because it said 20 for 1/8, and then every 1/8 on top is 10 over, so I don't know the math here, but we're on 1/4, and I put it on 30. I have the post gas, it's somewhere between like 7 or 8, and I need to do some reading and really figure out, you know, how to get rid of the slag right here in the back, but it is almost a full cut. So I'm gonna show you guys really quickly. I was watching the videos on YouTube, and the guys who are using the plasma cutter aren't really using a welding mask, and I'm just gonna use a dark shaded sunglasses, you know, right here, Dragon Spec, shout out to Mark. But I'm gonna use this to cut because it didn't really like flash to the point that I needed a welding mask. But if you prefer to weld one, by all means. I am wearing gloves as well too because this is a lot of spark, you know, blasting through. So let's get you guys up on the tripod, get you guys some angles, and let's cut some pieces out real quick. Get your ground strap on. I don't know if it matters, but I am gonna like just pre-trigger to get the air flowing, right? This thing does have a little safety shield on as well too, so you got to flip it up every single time. All right, we had a little boo-boo, guys. I had to take off the 110 to hook it up to the adapter to the 220 to my dryer. The reason for that is because my 110 just has a lot of connections to it. So if you look, a power strip in the back right there, it has like 6 on here, and then this white one right here goes to this guy, which has like 5 on there. Then it goes to the green guy, which goes to these guys over here. So there's just a lot of power being pulled from the strip, so I hooked it up to the 220. Hopefully we don't shut the machine off anymore or actually cut the breaker, but let's go ahead and continue on the 220 outlet and see what it does. That took no time at all. Let's try to run a longer bead across the tow hook. This is about 2 inches wide, 1/4 inch plate. Wow. Guys, that is almost a clean cut, and that took almost no time at all. Now all the slag right here on the edge, you can hit it with a flap disc and it'll cut right off, but I'm sure I can adjust the machine to create less slag. But also I got to figure out my speed. These little lines right here kind of tells you on that page in the manual if you're going too fast or too slow, so I will definitely take a look at it. I will say that I was cutting at an angle, so this is not like true straight down cut, but we're just testing out, right? We're just testing out. So I'm overall pretty satisfied, and just the fact that this is going to help cut down a lot of time when I'm cutting material and stuff, when I'm making stuff out of CAD, man, this is freaking awesome, dude. Kind of want to sit here and cut this all day long. Do we want to try to do something a little thicker just because we're currently set up on the 220? Let me try to find something that's like 1/2 inch. I was trying to find a rotor, but I've already thrown everything away a couple of weeks ago when the scrap metal guy came and picked up everything. What I can do is I can take these 2 1/4 inch plate, stack them together, make it really thick, and see if we can cut through both of these all the way through. That makes sense, right? I think that's thick enough. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the amperage all the way. This is a 50 amp machine, but if you go all the way, you can get up to like 53. You can kind of tug on it. As far as the air goes, I guess this is going to be adjusted based off the slag and stuff we get off the final cut, but I am going to turn it up just a little bit and see what it do. All right, let's see how this thing cut through 1/2 inch of steel. Almost. I think I was going a little too fast, but it definitely cut all the way through on this side and the start, and then in the middle it's still attached on the bottom, but the top portion is fully cut all the way through. Let's try to do this again. Let me cut off this piece real quick. So there goes that piece. All right, let's go a little slower and see if we can cut through both of these 1/2 inch in total in one shot. Almost, guys, almost. It does help to see the spark on the bottom side, which kind of tells me that this thing is burning all the way through. But I think because there's so much slag that it's kind of like fusing itself back together, because if you guys look underneath, there is a lot of them, right? But it literally burned almost all the way through. It's just right there is still kind of connected together. I feel like it's the slag that's kind of holding it together, because look, I can just bend these two pieces and there's that section we just cut, and you can see it literally went all the way through. I just got to figure out the settings to reduce the slag, and this right here just lets me know that we can cut 1/2 inch of steel plate. So that's freaking awesome. You know, now I'm really curious to know if it cuts aluminum just as well. So this right here is 1/8. This is 1/4. The machine is still on the 50 amps, so I'm gonna cut the 1/4 inch plate first, pretty thick. Like butter. Now it isn't the cleanest cut because aluminum does absorb heat a lot faster. I think 50 amps is still a little too much. I believe I was on 30 cutting the 1/4 inch, and I turned it up to 50 to cut the 1/2 inch. Probably wasn't thinking, but cuts like butter. I'm gonna turn the amperage back to 30. I'm gonna do it one more time. There's already a line cut right there, so I'm gonna go ahead and just finish off this line. I did accidentally cut my rack a little bit right there. The 30 amps did not go all the way through at all. So it looks like 1/4 inch aluminum is gonna need that 50. Not shabby. All right, guys, so that was freaking 1/4 inch plate, and I'm gonna try to do 1/8 inch aluminum with the 30 amps and see if it cuts to this easily. Go ahead and strap the ground. I burned through my freaking rack again right there. No mother's way. Get my gloves on here real quick. So far, it seems like aluminum is a little more sloppier than cutting steel, but with aluminum, I think I'm okay with cutting with a cutoff wheel, because I'm not really cutting like crazy, you know, intricate designs. Realistically, I wouldn't use the plasma cutter for cutting like bracketry and stuff that are weird shaped, like rear disc brake brackets and stuff. It makes it easier to cut with the plasma than to cut with a cutoff wheel trying to get curves, you know what I mean? So let's get this rolling. Easy. This actually came out clean. So I guess it's just amperage. I think the 1/4 inch just needs the 50 to cut cleaner. Because the 30 amp, obviously I had to do it twice to cut it all the way through. And then this doesn't look as bad, so okay, at least we know it works with aluminum as well. At this point, I'm just having fun with this. I noticed that the gun itself is a swivel on the bottom, so that kind of helps prevent from like kinking and you know, bending your lines too crazy or whatever, but that's pretty cool. Accidentally burned my wood underneath. This is just a slag that's holding it together. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, man. I forgot to turn the air compressor back on when the power shorted earlier. I turned the compressor off for the breaker to reset, and I checked the back over here, and I only had about 40 psi back here, and that last material that I was cutting was on 40 psi of air. We're back at 60, but remember guys, minimum is 60 to have this machine work efficiently. I'm very happy that this machine is quiet. It's not that loud at all. I mean, granted, my Everlast TIG welder and the MIG-Max 215 is not loud either, but like I would think for something that's working as hard as a plasma cutter, I thought it would be louder, but it's freaking awesome that it's not, and that's a plus for me. Damn, that took a minute to like actually turn off. So I'm gonna wrap it up as far as this plasma stuff goes, because I was getting carried away cutting these last pieces of material. I was burning through my freaking table. You can see it right there. I had to water it all down. I watered all these guys down as well too, just to throw it in the trash without burning the bag. So we are done with the plasma cutter for today, guys. I'm gonna clean all this stuff up real quick, find a new home location for this new tool for the garage, and we're gonna kind of recap a little bit about this machine, and we'll wrap up this video. So dark. All right guys, we're gonna wrap it up for this video plasma cutter review. Thank you, Alan, for sending this over to the pad to help me with like production of making brackets and such in the future. I still don't know how to pronounce the brand. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it because I will butcher it, but I'll be sure to get the exact plasma cutter off of Amazon and link in the description below for you guys. This is what it's called right there, Cut 50. That's all I can read, but this plasma cutter, dude, super duper clutch, and I had a lot of fun with it today. The biggest thing that I thought about when the plasma cutter came here was making rear disc brake brackets. Now I know they sell those brackets on Facebook in the market. They're like $150 to $250 depending on, you know, the application, right? But if you guys have been following me since my red all-wheel drive CRX, I took the wagon drums and then I took the entire brake system off of it and made my own rear bracket for calipers. And I still have the template here 8 years later. I still have them. There's another piece, but I was gonna make them for the 88 Silver Sedan Go rear disc brakes, but then I was like, well, I didn't want to cut it and all that, and decided to keep it drums. But now that we have a plasma cutter that's gonna help cut these curves a lot easier, I might make brackets to go rear disc brakes on the 88 sedan. But regardless of the rear disc brakes, I think just cutting metal in general, or any thick metal in general, the plasma cutter is going to help me out a lot. So big shout out to Alan once again for sending this plasma cutter to the pad. I will say that this thing works really well for the price that it's listed for on Amazon. So if you guys are interested, link in the description below. I don't have an affiliate link yet, and I know it could help me out a lot. Maybe I should stop slacking and make an affiliate link. Anyways, putting you guys on game. That's all I'm doing. And we're going to wrap it up right here. I hope you guys enjoyed the plasma cutting video. If you guys did, be sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you guys want to stick around for more regular programming here on the driveway, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.